Hello guys, welcome to Nerdsup. Today we will be building a linear regression model using scikit-learn, and then we'll be comparing the results of scikit-learn with the results that we got in our previous video where we built a linear regression model from scratch using gradient descent. And the model that today we will be building is on the same data, so that we can make comparisons how well we did or how bad we did in the previous video where we built the model. So let's get started. First, I'll be importing our dependencies. So let's import pandas, and we'll be importing numpy for scientific calculations, and then we'll be importing matplotlib. Actually, we won't be doing any calculations. Scikit-learn would be doing for us, and we'll be importing few packages from sklearn, that's scikit-learn. So from sklearn import linear model, and I don't think we need pandas, so I'll be removing it. We'll be importing few more things from scikit-learn. So scikit-learn is the industry standard package. Everybody uses scikit-learn to build models. All right, so import mean squared error and the R2 score, and let me run the cell. And finally we'll be importing the magic function matplotlib inline. So person matplotlib inline, and let's rerun the cell. Let's insert a new cell below, and let's store. So before that, let me just copy the load data functions that we defined in our previous video. So it will help us load the data from data.txt file. So I'll be copying it and pasting it over here. And let me rename this. If you're not seeing my previous video, then just go check it out, where I have coded load data from scratch. So now the next thing I will be doing is that I'll be putting the individual x values and the y values inside the list. So the x data and the y data list is a list of lists. So this is something we have to do because this is how the sklearn accepts data. So it's just a format how sklearn accepts, so we have to follow it, otherwise sklearn will throw us an error. Let me run the cell. Let's insert a new cell, and let's store the data.txt in a file variable, and let's use the load data function that will return us x values and the y values, which is our training data, and we'll be giving the file name as the parameter to the load data function. And finally we'll be running this cell, but before that let me just make a model equal to linear model dot linear regression, and that's it. Your model has been created. It's just a one line of code, and now we'll be running the cell. Error, too many values to unpack. Okay, so we don't need the x head and the y head, so we'll be removing it. That's why it threw us error, because we were returning 4 and we only want 2. Let's rerun the cell. No error. Great. Now we'll be performing training by the model we created. So it's just a one line of code, model.fit it, and you give the training data and its targets. That's it. Your training is done. And finally we'll be making predictions and it's also one line of code, model.predict, and you give the test values. So over here it's very important. Your goal is not only to fit the model to the given data, but to make predictions for the data that does not have any targets. So your goal is not to fit the model to the data, but to make a prediction, like what are the y values for these x values, because we don't know the y values for these x values. So what are the y values, and your model will do that for you. And whatever your model predicts, those are the targets for the x values whose y values are not known. All right, let's run the cell. Great, let's insert a new cell. Over here I'll be printing the weights, which is the y-intercept and the slope. First let me just print the slope. So it's model dot cof underscore, that's the property of the object, and for b it's intercept underscore, which is the y-intercept. And let me run this cell. So here are the results, and But let's make comparison. Before that, let me just copy this and make comparison to the results that we got in the previous video. So as you can see over here, the m value of scikit-learn is 1.32 and we got an m value, which is the slope, as 1.47. so that's pretty much near to what scikit-learn got, but there's a difference in the b value. B value scikit-learn got as 7.99, but we got when we were building the linear model from scratch using gradient descent, we got 0.03. all right, and maybe scikit-learn did a better job than us, but what really matters that why we didn't get the results what scikit-learn got, because of the hyperparameters. Maybe they didn't use gradient descent for training the model. Maybe even if they use gradient descent, then the number of iterations that they perform would be maybe higher than 30, and we use 30 iteration, maybe the learning rate. So the point over here is the hyperparameters matters. All right, you have to choose the right hyperparameters to build a great model, and that comes by experience. Maybe they use some different error function, we use mean squared error, and they might have used some different error function. So maybe that's why there is a difference between their results and our results. All right, now I would like to make a visualization of the scikit-learn's prediction. So we'll be scattering the points, our training points, the x values and the y values, and then we'll be plotting a line. For these x values we get the y values, which are the predictions. So I'll be copying the prediction, pasting it. So for those x values, the prediction are the y values, and those predictions are the predictions made by our model. And finally plt.show. Let me run this cell. All right, so as you can see, this is the result of scikit-learn. Let's see our results and from the previous video, and this is our result. So we didn't do a bad job, and maybe scikit-learn was better in prediction, and we didn't do as good as scikit-learn, but we were not that bad. All right, so okay guys, this was it for today. And as you can see how easy it is to use scikit-learn. Everyone uses scikit-learn, and you can build very complex models in few lines of code using scikit-learn. All right, so that was it for today, and if you like our videos, then do subscribe to our channel, and do hit the like button. All right, thank you, bye, see you.